Hey, good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back to Tops Tactical and other cool stuff. Today we're going to talk about police turn-in guns. As you saw from the thumb, obviously I am right back here, and the gun is up here. You don't need to see me because you need to see the gun. So anyway, we're going to jump in and get started with this. Now, what is a police turn-in? Well, for whatever reason, police departments decide they want to change weapons. Maybe they want a different caliber. Maybe they want a different model. Maybe they want a different manufacturer. So all the guns that are currently on the street, they collect them up, and then they get sold at a really, really good price. Now, just understand that you're buying a used gun. That can have its benefits. It can also have its drawbacks. But we're going to talk about this police turn-in right here. This one is a Glock 22, and I need to give a shout out to Kevin at Kentucky Kentucky Gunsmithing. I'll put his contact information down in the description of this video. He called me up, told me about this police turn-in gun, and offered one up for me to do a review on. So if you guys are in the market for one of these, if this thing sounds good as we go through it, be sure to give Kevin a shout, see what he can do for you. A little surfing around on the internet, I've come to the conclusion that the price he has on this one is better than anything I found anywhere else. But like I say, his information will be down there in the remarks part of this video. Let's dive right on in. What we have is a Gen 3 Glock 22. Now it's coming to you in the original case. And let me reach over here and get it opened up without knocking the camera over. This one comes to us, it's in this case, it's coming to us with one magazine. No idea about any others. You may find that some will come with one, some with two. You just really don't know. It's kind of like unwrapping that Christmas present. But there's the magazine, and here is the pistol. Now let's go ahead and get my box over here out of the way. First thing I'm going to do is ensure that this weapon is clear by visually and physically inspecting the chamber and the magazine well to make sure that this weapon's clear. Now let's just kind of take a tour around this gun, and hopefully I can stand here and kind of hold this up a little bit where you guys can see it. What do we look for on these guns? Well, for me, I start out with just a general look on the exterior of the weapon, looking for any kinds of wear, any bad stuff on it. Now I've looked this gun over, and it's almost brand new. Alright, this gun has really been taken care of. I've got a little wear right here, you can see on the forward part of the chamber here. Other than that, I don't see any holster tracks. There may be a very faint holster mark right there. But this gun here looks to be in really great condition. Okay, I don't see any seatbelt marks, for example. If the officer was right-handed, clicking the seatbelt, no marks here on the gun. I'm really happy with the way this gun appears. All right, I don't see any obvious signs of wear. I don't see any problems with anything mechanically so far. But let's go ahead and tear this thing apart now. I'm going to have to take this out of the camera to get it disassembled, and then I'll lay the pieces back down here for us. Alright, there's the frame. Recoil spring guide, barrel, and the slide assembly. Alright, what do I look for on these guns? We're going to start right here with the recoil spring. Obviously, if the recoil spring guide was broken, then this piece would not be intact. Alright, so I'm going to pick this thing up, and I'm just going to eyeball this spring. I'm going to look for any signs of wear, any visible cracks in the recoil spring guide, which I don't see. The spring is not broken anywhere. It still wants to do its job. I can sit here and compress this spring a little bit. I'm trying to do it where you guys can see it. There, I've got it compressed. There's good tension on that spring. I'm going to take a look at both ends of this. I'm checking the recoil spring guide for any signs of chipping or wear, cracks, any deformation there. This end of it looks good. So I'm happy with the recoil spring and the recoil spring guide. If there was a problem here, that's not necessarily a showstopper, because this is a pretty cheap part. After that, I'm going to move on to the barrel. On the barrel, I'm going to give it a look over. You can probably see, if we get the light just right, there are some wear marks here and also here. You know, some police officers are the kind of guys that the only time they take their weapon out of the holster is when they go to the range and qualify twice a year. Some guys are the other extreme where they shoot quite often. So you never know what you're going to get. But I see wear around the barrel. Alright. But I don't see any problems external on the barrel here. And I'm going to check this lug back here. Make sure I don't have any cracks or anything going on. No chipping or pitting. And that all looks good. So I'm happy with the external of the barrel. Then I'm going to take a look, obviously, down the barrel. Alright. Now you guys are not going to be able to see this, so I can kind of tell you about it. But what I look for in here, I look for a barrel that is nice, clean, and shiny to start with. Alright, that allows me to see the definition between the lands and the grooves, make sure that there's, that is all still well defined, meaning the barrel's not shot out. I look for any chips or pitting up through there. This barrel looks really good. I really like this barrel. So I'm going to set it off to the side and we're going to continue. Next thing I'll do, I'm going to pick up this slide. I'm looking to slide over just for general blemishes and problems on it. I'm not seeing anything. If I'm happy with the way this looks, then let's look a little deeper. First thing I want to do is I come back here and I'll check out the rear sight, make sure that it's in there nice and tight and everything's good. I move forward. Next thing I come to is my ejector. I want to make sure that the extractor. Make sure that this extractor here looks good and everything's good with it. I don't see any problems there. I've got some movement out of it. Next thing you know, I've got the firing pin stuck out. So obviously the the striker, I believe is what they would call these in a striker fired pistol. I don't think I've got any problems with it. I can just recess it a little bit. I can take a look at that firing pin hole. The firing pin hole is right down in here, if you can see that. Make sure that it doesn't look like it's been chewed up, torn up, chipped, or anything there. Once I'm happy with that, I move on forward. I take a look at my front sight post. It feels nice and solid. I'm going to step out onto the end. And when I come up here to the business end of this slide assembly, I'm going to check and make sure I've got no cracks or pitting on this ring here that retains our recoil spring and recoil spring guide. So continue through that. I really like the way this gun looks. I don't see any problems with it. One thing to mention here, these night sights. I stepped into the closet with this last night and closed the door. And the night sights aren't really quite as bright as I had hoped they would be. I don't know how old this gun is, don't know how many rounds are through it. Let me see if I can grab me a Q-tip over here. Maybe take a Q-tip and kind of swab these sights out. There may be a little dirt sitting on them or something. But if night sights blow your skirt up, hey, that's great. If not, well, I can tell you that these were dirty in there. And that might be part of the dimness that I had with them. So we'll just kind of swab these out. You may end up having to replace a set of night sights, which is no really big deal. Again, you're buying a used gun and you're getting it at a lot better price than a brand new one. So that's kind of what I look at on these. I will take this thing out to the range and give her a shot, literally, a shot or two, or 200. As soon as the weather warms up, I think it's like 13 degrees right now, and I'm going to go from here back to sitting in a fire. And then I'll just sit here and I'll reassemble this weapon. And once we get it all back together, here we go. Once we get it all back together, we'll take one more good look at it. Oh, on this slide, or I'm sorry, on the frame. I also take a look at the block, the locking block, make sure it's not chewed up. I'll check the rail guides, make sure we've got no deformation or any problems in there, and just kind of really eyeball this thing good. I'm surprised at how clean this weapon came in. Evidently this officer kind of took care of his stuff. Once we get her all back together, that's kind of all there is to it. Like I say, that's a Gen 3 Glock 22, which is a 40 Smith & Wesson. You can get, you know, just whatever happens to be getting turned in at the time. It's hard to say. I mean, I've seen FNs, I've seen Glock 21s, I've seen some of the 9mm Glocks. You just never really know what's going to be on there. So anyway, this is the police turn-in deal. The stuff that I look for on a used gun. I've never bought a used gun before. I didn't buy this one. This is on loan for me to do this video. But that's kind of what I look at. You know, looking for any kind of obvious problems, go through it mechanically. You can get as deep in the woods as you want with this, you know, as far as taking everything apart and looking at all the pieces. But I'm pretty happy with it. I think this is a good gun. I've seen 2 or 3 that he had up there, and they're all comparable to this. Some of them may have just a little bit more wear here and there, you know, some holster marks, seat belt marks, or whatever. I didn't really talk about the magazine, but you can look the magazine over, make sure the follower is intact, make sure you got some good spring tension on it. But that's it in a nutshell. Anything else is going to start me to rambling. Again, shout out to Kevin up there at Kentucky Gunsmithing. You know, thanks for loaning me this video or loaning me this weapon so I can do this video, and for telling me about this police turn-in program. I didn't even know about it. While you guys are here, I hope you like this video, and do me a favor and go and hit that subscribe button and the like button, and then click that notifications bell so you don't miss any more of my cool, fun, and amazing videos. It's supposed to warm up today to about 50 degrees. I think if it gets there, then I'll take this deal out, get some shooting done with it, and show you guys a little range video on it. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for showing up. Take care, God bless, and I want you guys to shoot safe, shoot straight, and train often.